African proverb says, the child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel the warmth. What time in your life have you been closest to starting the fire? 1. My wife was listed as senior staff for a local science fiction convention. In reality, that meant being an unpaid volunteer. She had to take a vacation day off work, pay for her own hotel room, and cover parking out of pocket. On the morning the convention started, she was already hard at work setting up the first of the 3 rooms she was responsible for. Heavy manual labor, moving tables, setting up shelves, loading them with equipment. That's when someone walked in, grabbed her ID badge off her desk, and turned it in to Lost and Found. When my wife went to retrieve it, the woman at Lost and Found told her there was a $5 fee to get a lost badge back. My wife looked at the badge, looked at the woman, and said, "Keep it. I'm going home. Have a nice convention." She had made it maybe 25 feet down the hall when the Lost and Found woman hurried after her and handed the badge back. 2. I was raised in a cult. There were 11 children, 4 mothers, and 1 man at the center of it all. He had convinced our mothers that he was the Archangel Michael. In my late teens, I tried to run away again and again. I would hike across the desert in the dark, aiming for the highway, hoping to hitch a ride out. Every single time, well-meaning truck drivers would see a small girl walking alone with her thumb out and call the police. I was short. I'd been malnourished my entire childhood. Even after I turned 18, I looked underage. I could never convince anyone I was an adult. Michael always reported me as a runaway, and every time, the police brought me right back. The last time I tried to escape, I was 20. When I saw the police lights in the distance, something in me broke. I felt completely hopeless. I seriously considered attacking the officer with the knife I always carried, not to hurt him, but because I knew he'd have no choice but to arrest me and take me to jail. I knew I was too small, too weak to actually harm him, but jail felt like the only way out I could imagine. 3. When I was a kid, my dad beat me pretty regularly. If he was sober, it was usually because I'd done something that supposedly deserved it. If he wasn't sober, it didn't matter. Then it was just go time. One night when I was 14, he got drunk. I came home from my girlfriend's place, and he cornered me in my room. He pressed a revolver to my head and started telling me how worthless I was, how killing me would actually be doing me a favor. I didn't say anything. I didn't move. I just stood there and waited for him to pull the trigger. He didn't. Instead, he walked out of the room and left the revolver sitting on my dresser. I picked it up and left the house. I walked through my hometown, sat by the river, and thought about every way I could get back at him for all the misery he'd caused my mother, my sister, and me. I also thought about ending it myself, but that part doesn't really matter here. In the end, I took the gun apart and threw the pieces into the river. No one has ever asked me about it since. It's probably still down there.
Follow for part 2.